This is a production of the Gold Arrow Podcast Network. Hello and welcome to the Gold Arrow Camp Podcast, a podcast for friends of Gold Arrow Camp. Throughout the year, we join you to bring your day some of what makes Gold Arrow special. Our goal is to help you have fun, make friends, and grow throughout the year, not just when you're at GAC. Since we can't get together in real life, we gather here around the virtual campfire. We have some of your favorite parts of morning assembly like wows and joke of the day. We also have interviews with experienced campers and some of your favorite counselors. We think it's a lot of fun and we're glad you joined us here. This is Pog-Cast episode 8. Today we're chatting with Cheerio. We know that camp is a great place for young people to develop their independence. We recognize that campers are given many opportunities to do things for themselves. Sure, we think about young campers learning to put on a swimsuit to go sailing or remembering their water bottle. But what about the teens who go on a 40-mile backcountry trek on the OLC? They have to cook, purify water, and set up shelter. That's some independence. Or our JC program. Those high school students learn CPR, lifeguarding, and counseling skills for younger children that prepare them not just for school, but for life outside their homes. They're ready to enter the world when they're done. Heck, camp even makes me more independent. Without my phone, I'm free from the crutches that fill my time, and instead fill that time with meaningful conversations, real fun, and hours of appreciating nature. This week, do something to be more independent. If you're a camper, do something on your own, like setting the table without being asked or learning to do your own laundry. If you're an adult, be more independent from your phone and computer. Put it down. Sure, it'll hurt a little, and you'll miss the excitement. But I'm willing to bet at the end of the week, you'll say, that was a better week than when I was glued to my phone all the time. All right, now it's time for one of my personal favorite parts of the podcast, wows. All right, here they are, some wows. Wow to Delta. These past 6 years have been amazing with you. Can't wait till next year. From Rachel. And to Roxy. Roxy, I want to wow you because you've survived 7 years of camp without getting hurt. From JoJo. I personally want to wow Sunshine and Monkey. We had the GAC Christmas party, and it was a really great time, and there was a photo booth, and everybody had a lot of fun. I want to wow Glitter because she decorated the office here for Christmas, and it was really lovely. And I want to thank people for contributing wows. If you want to send in a wow, simply email wow@Gold Arrow Camp or hashtag us on Instagram or Twitter, hashtag GACWOW, GACWOW, and we'll read those here on the podcast.
We have some poems for you. I like poems. We like to start off Poetry Corner with some well thought out haikus.
This podcast on the Poetry Corner is something a little different. Several years ago, we ran a camper haiku contest, and now we're going to read some of the winners on the podcast as the Poetry Corner. First up from Haley Davis. I love the fresh air. Campfires are fun with s'mores, but goodbyes are sad. And this one from Grace Lee. Overcome your fears. Have fun. Socialize. Love Earth. Discover yourself. Cheerio. Cheerio. Cheerio's on the podcast. Cheerio, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
I'm so happy to be here.
I can tell. Oh, Cheerio, I know this is hard to believe, but some people who listen to the podcast might not know who you are. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do when you're not at camp, and what you do when you are at camp?
Yes, I can. I'm Cheerio. I'm originally from Indiana, Noblesville, Indiana. And I now live in Orlando, Florida. And when I'm not at camp, I teach second grade. And when I'm at camp, I support campers and counselors however they need it.
What's your official title at camp?
Unsure.
I believe you're listed as the Awesomeness Coordinator. Which pretty well describes it, I think. Okay, so today we're talking about bringing positive change to the world. And I thought we could talk to you a little bit about that. So people also might not know, and you were too humble to mention it, but you won Coach's Award, right?
Yes.
Which is in part for using kind of positive attitude and encouraging words. You are easily one of like the most upbeat, positive people on the planet that I know. So the question is, how do you stay so kind of upbeat and positive? What's your secret, Cheerio?
I'm not sure if I have a secret.
There's not a secret?
But I just find that if you look for positive things, it's there. And if you look for negative things, they're also there. And it just seems like a lot of people focus on the negative or maybe tend to do that. And so for me, it's easier to focus on the positive, and then it makes other people do the same thing. And then even in hard things, then it seems easier to like roll with the punches or go throughout your day if everyone around you is like happier or more encouraging of each other instead of like tearing each other down, I guess.
So I guess you're saying that it's like it builds on itself. So if you find the positive, that makes other people more positive, which then makes you more positive, which then so on and so forth forever.
The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah.
Perfect. And it's like a little hurricane of positivity.
Yes.
All right, let's talk a little bit about having fun and being happy. Okay. What do you do on a daily basis to have fun?
I try not to take my job or anything too seriously, even if it sometimes like I feel stressed. Like if if I didn't get everything done that I wanted to or things like that, I just try to put on a show every day, and it makes it more fun. I feel like I'm on stage, and then my students like kind of participate, and then it's just this really. I feel like I'm in a musical. Which is kind of one of my dreams, but anyway.
Okay, well, we're gonna pause just for a second.
Okay.
If you were in any musical ever that was on Broadway, what musical would you be in?
Grease.
Wow, you answered so quickly. Who would you be?
Favorite.
Would you be Sandra Dee?
I'm not sure, but I would be someone in a poodle skirt.
Okay, so is it that you love the musical or you love the costume? Which is it?
Both, but mostly like the time period and the costumes and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. And now back to our regularly scheduled podcast. Two lovers of musical theater just chatting it up. That's a totally different podcast. You're obviously happy.
Yeah.
What do you think campers can do to be happier at home? What's like a concrete thing they can do to be happy at home?
I think one thing is if things don't seem like, if the environment around them is not, like if they don't already feel happy, then they can create it by, I don't know, little things like throwing a party or writing like fun notes or doing something unexpected for someone else, just like a really simple thing and things like that. Because then when people see you, then they're happy to see you, and then it's kind of like it just keeps going. It's the big hurricane of happiness.
We're going to get a graphic, like the hurricane of happiness, and it's if you're positive, if you're happy, that makes other people positive and happy, and then you're in the eye of a happiness hurricane. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so when you were a counselor, you generally worked with kind of our youngest campers, right?
Yes. Yes.
What is your absolute favorite part about working with young campers?
Oh my gosh. Young campers are so fun. All campers are fun, but they are so fun, especially if they're experiencing camp for the first time.
Sure.
Or helping somebody else experience camp for the first time. Because they just like everything's new, or even if it's not new, then it's new for somebody else, and they love they just love everything that you do. Like if you make something fun, then they give it right back and just keeps going. I guess that's the theme of this conversation.
We're going to call the podcast A Hurricane of Happiness with Cheerio, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love that. I don't know. It just seems like they have so much fun because it's like the beginning of their camp lives, I guess.
Sure.
And I also find that my sense of humor has remained in that age group. So I feel like we just get each other. So it's just fun to be around them.
So you teach second grade. That's kind of the same age group then?
Yes.
So you're like year round.
Year round.
All
Bears.
you can do.
Year round.
What do you do in your classroom that are things from camp? Anything?
Oh my gosh. We do Cuckoo Kangaroo every single day.
Yes.
We do like whenever we do a brain break, it's some sort of like fun dance type thing like that. And we have this thing where we have some students who deliver mail once a month. So like once a month we write either to like a former teacher they had or to a friend or whatever, just to like spread kindness and things like that. And we just like act silly because you learn when I think that you learn more when you're having more fun and you're more engaged. So
I agree.
I just try to do things that Sandwich would do.
Oh.
I also sing when I lose things. So, it's like half the day. So like, I can't find my dry erase marker. And then I always say I'm such a terrible singer. And then they say, no, you're not. You should be on Broadway. And I say, thank you. And then we move on.
And then you think about being in Greece.
Yeah.
This came full circle. I see what we've done here. All right, Cheerio. Here it is. We're going to wrap the interview up with the speed round.
Oh.
5 questions that everybody who comes on the podcast has to answer.
Okay.
Here they come. Cheerio, what is your favorite Repeat After Me song?
Oh.
It's the anti-speed round.
The one with the grump.
The one with the grump. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll
grump. You know?
I do. I don't know what it's called. I would have called it the same thing. Cheerio, what's your favorite item on the salad bar?
Oh, the beets.
Oh, Team Red Beet. What's your favorite chapstick flavor?
Monkey's Mountain Mint.
Yes, good answer. Mallows or popcorn?
Mallows.
Good choice.
If both are not an option.
Right, well, because both are not an option. You have to choose.
Typically.
And finally, Cheerio, what's your real name?
Heather
Oh, no,
Levy.
I'm so sorry. We're all out of time on the podcast. We're not going to know. We'll have to have Cheerio back on so she can reveal her actual name later. Cheerio, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Joke of the cast, joke of the cast. 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 Joke of the cast. On the bottom of the ocean one day, a lobster is talking to an oyster, and the lobster asks the oyster why she doesn't give to charity. The oyster looks at the lobster and says, "Oh, I thought you knew. I'm shellfish." And now, it's time for another Gaxpiration with Sunshine.
This week's Gaxpiration comes from Steve Maraboli. Don't wait for other people to be loving, giving, compassionate, grateful, forgiving, generous, or friendly. Lead the way.
And with that, we're back at the end of another podcast. I want to thank Sunshine for reading that Gaxpiration. I want to thank Grace Lee and Haley Davis for providing the Poetry Corner haikus today. I want to thank Cheerio for a really, really exciting and entertaining interview. I want to thank you for listening. Remember, if you like the GAC podcast, rate it and review it on iTunes. Let people know that it's great so people who maybe don't know us can find us. Share it with a friend. If nothing else, come back here, same bat time, same bat channel, for the next episode of the GAC podcast. Until then, I'm Soy and I'll save a marshmallow for you.